Okay, this is Natalie Assen. I'm the president of the ICF Orange County chapter, and I want to welcome all of you to this webinar. We've just had a little chat with Lizabeth Phelps. I'm more than excited to hear her story. Just want to check in with you, Lizabeth. Are you here with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
We have Joanne with us as well. She'll be the host for our speaker, Elizabeth, and the talk will be amazing. It will blow you away. I mean, the little things that I just heard, really, you want to hear this. And the talk is all about, is there an inspired thought leader inside of you? But before going to, wait, there's something, 1 second, I'm going to come back to front so that you have all the slides. Before handing the mic more or less to Lizabeth, I just want to introduce you to our new board. This is the board for 2017. And we have 2 new faces and we have 4 familiar faces. And I noticed just before we started the webinar that my photo is still linked to Maggie Stern. So apparently she's still with us somewhere. She doesn't want to give up. Maggie Stern was our former president, as most of you know, and she unfortunately passed. So, but she was very dear to us. But I will be the next president. Candice York is responsible for communications and social responsibilities. Joanne, who's with us live, is our treasurer. We're very excited to have 2 program directors, Enrique Martinez and Mike Warren. And we have a new face with Nanor Ohanesian. She'll be our membership director. So any questions about membership, just reach out to Nor. She is really, really nice. And so is Mike and the rest of the team. So just a little update. We had a strategy meeting last Saturday, 4 hours in a room, and the energy is high. There's a lot of enthusiasm within the team. We really want to step up the game again. We really want to give our members what they need and what they deserve. But as we concluded, change is a process, not an event. And there will be some change for next year. And we'll inform you on all of that through our emails, through our social media and our website. But we really want to be very valuable to our members. And this will have some implications on what we did. So we'll keep what was good, but we change what we think could be improved. So stay with us through our website. This is our website, Coaches of Orange County. You'll find all the information there, even the recording of this webinar. And of course, we have our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We might not have been that active, but this is also something we want to improve on. And just for a little, just for a note for self, we have our first event already scheduled. It will be a live event, January 19th. Location and time still to be decided. It could be a morning event, we're working on it. But this will be with Paul O'Donovan, Go to the Edge, an MCC journey. And you don't want to miss this. He will share what he has gone through and how successful his business is and what you have to do. So I'm super excited about that. And before handing the mic to the rest, just some notes that we'll have a email sent out to all our participants after the webinar. It will include the PDF of the presentation from Lizabeth. It will also have the CCEU. This webinar is 1 CCEU, and there will be a survey. And up to now, we have seen that not a lot of people fill out the survey. Really, really, I want to ask you, fill out the survey. It will help you eventually through us, because that's how we know what to improve on. So please fill out the survey so for us to know how we can serve you better. And also for our speaker to know what went really well and maybe also what she could improve. And the last thing is Q&A. As you can see in your screen, there is an option for Q&A. You can type out your questions, and at the end, our speaker will stay on a little longer if that's needed for answer all the questions. But that will be at the end. But type them in throughout the whole webinar so we gather all your questions. And that's it from my end. So Joanne.
Okay, yeah, hi everybody. We already have one question, which is, do we get CCEU credits? And yes, there is one. Is that correct, Natalie? One credit for today?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you'll receive something via email. Okay, let me introduce Lizabeth. She has got a jam-packed presentation, and we want to get rolling as quick as we can. She's willing to stay on a little longer at the end for Q&A for those of you who have the ability to stay on, but please go ahead and write your questions in so I can quickly give them to her. Okay, Lizabeth Phelps, founder of Inspired Leaders Academy, turns socially conscious entrepreneurs into leaders who influence and impact change in the world. After 13 years in business, 5 of them as a coach herself, she knows that to succeed, a coach or consultant must be truly one of a kind. And to do that requires leading with a provocative message that no one else is sharing. Lizabeth has built 2 successful businesses on provocative, innovative messaging and designed and led countless cutting-edge, live, and virtual programs that have stood far apart in the business development field. One of the first was her public speaking course based on the latest neuroscience on learning and the brain. Years of expertise in marketing, writing, coaching, training, speaking, adult learning strategies, and instructional design has afforded her comprehensive understanding of communication and businesses that work. With no further ado, Lizabeth, up to you.
Okay, let's see. I've got to do all this technical stuff here. Let's hope it works. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Is There an Inspired Thought Leader Inside of You? I am Lizabeth Phelps, founder of Inspired Leaders Academy, and that was me in the spring, I said in the spring at ICF, Connecticut. So I've been talking around the country to coaches for the last 2 years, really, I would say, and I wonder if you want the same things that they've told me they want. So how many of you want to present yourself in your coaching business in a way that feels worthy of you? So every time I ask you a question in this webinar, answer them inside your own mind or even out loud. So how many of you want that, in a way that feels worthy of you? And how many of you want to increase your sales? And how many of you feel that you're here to change the world in some important way and you want to know what will do it? These are the things that coaches around the country have told me. So if you want these 3 things, I'm glad, so glad that you're here today. You're going to leave here today knowing how to have all of that, and you're going to leave with a new vision for what's possible for the future of your business and even yourself. My only hope is that you don't leave here and then let it all slip away. That can happen so often. And I really want to acknowledge you, take a moment to acknowledge you for showing up here. I know that about 50 people signed up. I don't know if 50 people are here. And I don't know how many people in the world. We know that not very many actually decide to go out on their own and have their own businesses. And so I want to acknowledge you for the bravery and the daring that that has brought you this far, and for showing up every day in your ode to your own mission. So I just really want to acknowledge you for the showing up, because that's 99% of everything. So today we are asking and answering the question, is there an inspired thought leader inside of you? And right now, answer that question for yourself. So what do you need to know to answer that question? Well, you need to know some context, because leadership is a word that means a lot of different things, and you need to be clear on what it means for you, especially as a coach. You need to know what an inspired thought leader message actually is, why it's crucial that you have one now and in the near future. And you need to know the core elements that make an inspired thought leader message totally different from what you're doing now and what you're seeing around you. So once we've covered these areas, you'll answer this title question with confidence. And when you do, it can be life-altering because of what it's going to draw out of you, power that you didn't know you had. So let's get started with this. Part 1, let's look at current conditions. And let's begin with a 7-question quiz. And I would recommend that you even jot them down or use your fingers to count off how many yeses you have to each of this. So do you have a coaching business that you have always dreamed of? Is this the coaching business you dreamed of when you got into it 10 years ago or 2? Is it the coaching business you currently want? Do you feel that your business success reflects what you're capable of? Are you happy with the number of clients and accounts that you have regularly? Do you feel that the way your business is viewed by others is worthy of you? Are you effectively conveying a message that you're proud of? Do you feel recognized as you want to be for the skills and the talents that you have? And are you honoring the calling that brought you into coaching in the first place? Only you know that answer. So how many of you said no, or well, I asked you to count them off if they were yeses, but how many of you said no to 4 or more of these? Do you know why I ask those questions? I ask them because I know coaches so well. I was one for 5 years, and I've been working with them nearly exclusively for 10, ensuring that they build businesses the right way, ones that prospects will buy. And these are the deep issues that haunt coaches because they want to change the world, but they don't know how to build a business to support that goal. As business owners, coaches are a different set. Yes, we're like a lot of entrepreneurs. We can't work for others. We have solutions to problems. We're creative and inventive, and we want to change the world, right? But we're also very, very different from other entrepreneurs. Every one of you listening right now has had an impulse to empower people, how they think, act, and feel. You've had an impulse to create a change in consciousness, and that is what distinguishes us. We are transformation artists, and things are different for us because of it. That impulse in you, that much bigger than you impulse, has always wanted more for you than you've allowed yourself to have. It has seen so much more for you and the impact you can have than you have ever allowed yourself to have. There is a war going on in 9 out of 10 coaches. I get it every day. That impulse has been a powerful driver, and yet coaches hang back in the shadows. They don't step into their full potential. I'm asking if you're relating to that. That impulse in you never envisioned you hiding out. When it pushed you out of the nest of your safe job or a safe marriage or whatever it was that woke you up to the work you do, it did it because you're equipped. You're equipped to affect change. It's what you're here for. The world seems like it's on this runaway train heading into darkness more and more every day, but you know what others don't. That this is the dark before the dawn. You and I can see the dawn. Coaches see the dawn. And that impulse in you, it saw the dawn a long time before you did. And it very deliberately set you in the conductor's seat to lead those aware into the new dawn. Your impulse saw you doing that by making waves, though, challenging long-held ideals that don't work. This is what coaches do, pulling away veils, leading. If you are hiding out in your home office or a 1-gig contract, you are not showing up fully for the job. Hello. You have something the world needs and you must give it. I know you're feeling that right now. Things are different for us. Business is the place for meaning and purpose. So if your business is not where you want it to be as you answered those 7 quiz questions, something important is off. Something primordial is off. And that disconnect must be fixed for you to honor yourself and the work that has called you. No more hiding out. I want you to say that to your computer screen right now. Seriously, I want you to say, no more hiding out. So, if you're here to lead those less aware into the dawn, the question is, where do you lead? You don't most likely run a team of employees or lead board of director meetings. Coaching doesn't seem synonymous with leadership at all because typically, you're working with an individual. So the question is, when you're teaching or training, is that leadership? So let's get clear on what I mean by leadership and where it's done. As a coach, you lead outside of the room where you do your expert work. Outside, cozy, and comfortable. Leadership is done in your marketing on public platforms. So I'm going to run down what these are, but you're so familiar with them, it's not even necessary, but it's a way to summarize everything. So these public platforms are events that you host. So you host a webinar, you host a podcast, an in-person presentation, telesummits. And it's also public platforms are events where you are hosted, interview calls, somebody's interviewing you, radio shows, live stages, telesummits, webinars. I'm being hosted here, right? Additionally, these public platforms are YouTube, articles on your blogs and other people's blogs, and TED Talks. TED is a marketing platform. It is nothing but a marketing platform. It's a leadership marketing platform. So this is where you conduct the train that we're all on right now. These are the platforms where your message gets heard and you guide people closer to that dawn. And of course, these are the platforms where your business gets seen and attracts clients. Business success is almost entirely due to how your business is perceived. And that is almost entirely due to how you are portraying it on the outside in these public platforms in your marketing. And the success of that, well, let me ask you that, sorry. How many of you put focus on how your business is perceived and portrayed? In other words, how many of you are putting focus on these public platforms and your marketing? I'll continue. The success of how you are portraying your business is entirely due to how closely you are honoring your impulse. It breaks my heart to see how many coaches don't honor it. There's so much following what other coaches do, an epidemic of looking and sounding like everyone else and so like nothing at all. It's dangerous. It's unworthy of your calling. Things are different for us. So things are different, but most coaches are listening to advice meant for everybody else. So I want to take a minute and run down many of the typical solutions you've heard of for standing apart, right? We'll call that branding, all right? Standing apart, portraying yourself differently is the same thing as branding, right? So here are some things you've no doubt heard. Hey, brand yourself on your personality. Maybe wear a signature hat, or maybe your accent, use your accent and to, infuse your brand with your personality. Maybe it's your attitude. Maybe you're really in your face, irreverent, or you're quick-witted. Use your personality as your typical branding strategy. The next one you might hear is Use your past career or adventures you've had. A mountain climber who now helps others scale the highest peaks in their own life. A past career or adventure. Use that to stand apart. Maybe you've heard, use some uncommon credentials that you might have and bring them to another industry. Maybe you have a PhD in theology, but you go to corporate clients instead. Or you're a hypnotherapist, but let's bring that into your nutrition practice. What about target market? Well, as far as separating yourself by your target market, I'll say every single coach needs a very narrow market. But in this particular advice, you're being told to be known for that market. And like, I work with retirees, or I work with young couples, or I work with college kids. This can be effective, but you need so much more than this. What about a unique work style? You're a wilderness or a beach coaching, or maybe nowadays, you go from Airbnb to Airbnb or across the country. It's your unique work style. And finally, your specialty. You can brand yourself on being an EFT coach or a divorce coach or a hypnosis coach. Sometimes these work. For much the same reason that our eyes are drawn to bright, shiny objects, they have flash appeal, but they do not last. Furthermore, there is a much bigger problem with all of these. All of them are too superficial for what you are here to do. As I said, you are a different breed of entrepreneur. None of these brings out the voice of the impulse. That is a leader's voice, and it's your voice, and it's that voice that will differentiate you in a way all of these others never, ever, ever will. You have something the world needs, and you will not get it unless you lead. Things are different for us. I want you to say to your computer screen, leadership is going to differentiate me. But not just any leadership, and not just being any leader. So let's define why we're all here. Let's define what I mean by lead and what I mean by an inspired thought leader. So here's how I define a thought leader. Somebody who breaks the ceiling of conditioned thinking, who shakes people out of blind acceptance. At bare minimum, they're inserting reasonable doubt into people's minds about how they've been doing things. And ultimately, a thought leader shatters paradigms. And what about the inspired part of the term? My business name is Inspired Leaders Academy. It's been that way for 10 years. So I have a pretty ready definition for an inspired leader. It's somebody who in words and deeds causes others to aspire to something greater in themselves and greater than themselves than they ever imagined possible, igniting a change.
Elizabeth, I'm not hearing you anymore. Joanne, are you hearing me, or do we have a technical problem?
I'm hearing you, Natalie. I am not hearing Lizabeth either.
You're not hearing Elizabeth either?
Oh.
Elizabeth, we've lost you. Oh. Elizabeth? I think we have a technical problem.
I think maybe she accidentally cut off here.
Get with us in a second. Let's give her some time. So maybe use this little time before she checks in with us. if there are any questions, please fill out your questions in the Q&A. You can type out your questions, and if Lizabeth is with us again, she might be able to get back to them. And for the time being, I think we just need to wait till she's back.
I will try to give her a phone call real quick.
What do you see on the screen now, Joanne?
I'm just seeing your picture.
Okay, just my picture. Do you see my desktop?
No.
Okay. So hold tight, guys. I think everybody was so into her story. It was pretty fascinating. I'll just share with you, we always check in with our speakers an hour before we start the webinar. And so we had the opportunity to go through the technical stuff with Lizabeth, but also to talk with her about her journey and her passion. And it's pretty awesome what she does. So she's kind of breaking with a lot of assumptions that are made by a lot of coaching schools, and assumptions that coaching is easy, assumptions that coaching, what you were sharing comes overnight, and that you can make a lot of money in your PJs. And what she does is really help coaches to identify what their true message is, so that they are not burned out, but truly connect them to their passion. So I'm really hoping for Lizabeth to get back on, because if she can't, probably we will need to reschedule this webinar, also for all of us to get our CCEUs. I'm going to check in with Joanne. Joanne, have you been able to check in with our speaker?
No, not yet. Enrique, I know you're on the phone. If you can try to call her as well, please.
Let me see what happened. Oh, okay, there's an... okay, guys, this is just what it is. Lizabeth just emailed me. I had a power surge, unbelievable. I am feverishly trying to get back on. Oh boy. It has never happened to us, so this is kind of funny, I think. How do we deal with power surges?
The great news is we're at 29 participants in holding. Nobody has given up yet.
Oh, that's awesome.
We can give her about 5 more minutes after, otherwise we will reschedule.
Enrique, I just saw a text from you coming in. Do you hear her? Joanne, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, not sure what that was about. Oh, she can use her phone. Okay. I think what we need to do, I'll give it a few more minutes, but it makes sense to reschedule this, because I think this topic is too worthy not to hear to its full potential. Let me try. What am I hearing? Stay with us, guys. 28, we lost one.
That's what I thought. 28 brave soldiers.
Yeah, 28 brave soldiers. Guys, it's worth it. And if not in 2 minutes, I'll promise we'll shut it down. So you can go back to either creating your thoughtful message, like think about what is, all the questions that Elizabeth has asked us. Like what is your message and who are you as a thoughtful leader? I don't think this is going to happen. Okay. Oh, and so guys, a little update. Enrique is talking to her now. Enrique is our awesome programs director. He's with Lizabeth on the phone and he's asking us to wait a second. So we'll wait another second because apparently they're working on it to get her back on. Back on.
Great dancing in the moment, Natalie. You're a coach through and through.
So I might give you a little update while we're waiting on our thinking for 2017 as the board, with 4 experienced board members, let's call them that, who were serving on the board last year or this year, and 2 newbies. I think we created a lot of energy to provide something new, something worthy for 2017. What we're trying to do is really speak to every level. So we realize that starters, coaches who start, have different needs than our MCCs. So differentiation is kind of a buzzword for 2017. But at the same hand, differentiation in our offerings of our programs, but also we do want to have a little more stability so that you guys know what's happening. So probably there will be some frequency of our meetings. Let's say every month, probably we'll check in whether mornings work better than evenings. We are still trying to figure everything out. Our first strategy meeting was awesome. We'll have another one in January, but a lot of good things will be going to be happening. Just got another text from Enrique because we lost another person, 27 still. She's connecting now, so hopefully that will happen. I don't see her yet. Elizabeth, are you with us? No, I think she has a hard time getting back on. She's trying to connect. 27. Joanne, I think at 12:35 we need to make a decision because as one of our key things is always to value each other's time. Yeah. I think if we have not got her back at 12:35, I think we need to make that decision to cancel the rest of this webinar and schedule another time. Are you? It's 12:35.
Yeah, okay, 12:36 sounds good.
1 more minute, guys. Stay with us.
Enrique said she will connect by phone.
Yeah. You know, there's nothing wrong with getting a little appetizer and still waiting for the main course, right? So I think what we had is a little appetizer. I'm sure I want to hear more from Lizabeth. So I'm hungry for the main meal still. And that's just what it is. We gave you a little taste, and we'll be serving the main meal, I guess, another time. So Joanne, I'm going to wrap it up. I think we're waiting. Enrique. Yeah, she's having problems to connect. Guys, I'm super sorry. I'm going to reschedule. Thank you so much for checking in with us. We'll reschedule. You'll find, we'll send out a new email with a new registration. Thanks for being with us. Hopefully you got as excited as I did. Have an awesome day. I want to wish you, oh, and as I'm saying this, Lizabeth is back on.
Hey, I am back.
Okay, Lizabeth.
I can't believe it. This is Mercury in retrograde happening a few days early, I guess. Oh my Lord, I apologize. Okay, so
one thing, we lost 8 people, and we lost a little time. I was in the process of sharing that we were going to reschedule. We gave them the appetizer, but the main dish is still waiting for us. How comfortable do you feel continuing or rescheduling?
How many are there that are
22?
Okay. When would we be rescheduling in another month entirely?
We could still do it next week, probably, just before Christmas. That's something we need to check in with you guys, with you, and to see whether we are available. So, but I'm just giving you the heads up. You have 20 more minutes. We could continue and then schedule it again for those people who've missed it, maybe. That's another option in the new year.
I think by the fact that we have 22 people still hanging on, that we go ahead and finish it. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
And then maybe offer it again in January.
Lizabeth, does that work with you?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Let's continue.
Okay, so this will not be done in 20 minutes, though. So at this point, so should I just do it as usual?
Yeah, and I know that people have scheduled other stuff, right? Some people are at work, so some people might jump off at 1. That's a risk we're taking.
Okay, all right. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen, and I need to put it into, we decided that we needed to put it into presentation form, right?
Thank you to our 22 participants.
Yes, thank you so much. And I just can't believe that happened, but these things do, right? Okay. So I was at the Inspired Leaders. Let me get back to you all, and I will share my screen. Can you see this now?
Yes, I can see it perfectly.
Okay. All right, very, very good. So what I was saying is that an inspired leader is really the aspirational one, and they are asking people to aspire to something greater in themselves and greater than themselves than they ever imagined, igniting a change. And that is the perfect definition for us, right? For coaches. It's the perfect definition of what makes us a different breed of entrepreneur, empowering people to be more than they ever imagined and igniting a change. So thought leader is the visionary. They see new landscapes, and the inspired leader inspires folks to dare to travel to those new landscapes. Obviously, then, an inspired thought leader is the blend, somebody who disrupts the status quo with a visionary idea, a new vista that they see, and then inspires folks to dare to travel to them. You cannot merely rattle cages as a thought leader. You must open them and inspire those within them to fly. So let me ask you, are you an inspired thought leader? Answer that to your computer right now. Are you an inspired thought leader, given these definitions? And now, are you an inspired thought leader from the outside in your marketing? If you said no, you are in amongst the majority of people. Almost nobody is delivering this kind of message, this kind of leadership. You would think it would be commonplace because especially coaches are always learning and growing. They want to change lives. So why aren't you all out there on mountaintops with provocative ideas that wake people up? Well, I'm going to address that toward the end of our time together. But right now, I want to get really pragmatic and grounded and tell you that delivering an inspired thought leader message is not some lofty luxury that you can get to one day. It is a requirement for fulfilling your purpose, and to give anything less is not worthy of you. Furthermore, it's a requirement for thriving in business. So I have another quiz for you. Are you visible enough to have the level of success that you need and desire? Is your marketing converting? Are you doing active marketing? And is your brand message clear and compelling and something that you're proud of? If you said yes to all of those, congratulations, really. And if you said no, well, I want to get clear for you on why an inspired thought leader message is critical and not some luxury. So here's what it does. It appeals, it attracts, and it stands out. And that is absolutely what is needed today. Absolutely. And why does it appeal, attract, and stand out? Because it lingers. Almost nothing lingers anymore. And whatever does linger is extremely valuable. So why does it linger? It lingers, this kind of message that disrupts, right? Because it's interrupting long-held patterns and worldviews. When something crashes through the ceiling of what we know, shattering what we believe with new insight, new information, it captures our brain's attention. The brain attends to three things instantly. We're wired to attend to whatever is relevant to the brain and the body with the brain, what's novel, and what provokes emotion. So interrupting a pattern inserts something very new into your prospect's environment. The brain cannot ever look away. It's novel. And interrupting a pattern also evokes emotion. You've had the experience of a new contrarian point of view coming out of left field, shocking you, empowering you, even upsetting you, getting your attention because of it, something that just shocked you, and then burrowing under your skin. Think of one right now. Think of one right now. It interrupted a long-held pattern of yours, a worldview of yours, and it hit you emotionally. So you remember it. It lasted. New provocative information that breaks the schema, the current understanding that you have of your prospects, grabs their attention. It appeals, it attracts, and stands out, and literally lays down new pathways in your brain, their brains, I mean, that were not there before your message. That is the power of the Inspired Thought Leader message. It lays down new pathways that were not there before you spoke. That is just why I love it so much. These are invaluable results also in a world of constant marketing. But as I said, very few deliver this kind of messaging. Most peddle very hackneyed products and tired marketing messages, and they suffer for it. But you are not going to do that because things are different for us. Okay, now the elements of a thought leader message are very different from the typical branding message. But first, I want to lay out what should be in any solid platform message, the bare basics. Everyone has to have these. And I will say most businesses that I work with, most coaches struggle right here with basics. And I think you'll see that. You have to have a clear, well-defined target market, very, very well clear, so that you can speak to them and they know that you know them intimately and trust that you can solve their problem. You have to have a spectacular and no less articulation of their problem and their pain. You have to have a single solution, not a bunch of solutions, one well-sculpted, well-aimed, exceptionally articulated single solution. You have to have a compelling articulation of what they urgently want. And you must be able to describe the results that you deliver and the process that you use for doing so. And that's really, really key because most coaches squirm around the idea of a process. So now let's look at the added elements of an inspired thought leader brand message that don't exist in those basic messages. These are what I work deeply on with my clients in my 7-session program, the Powerhouse Method. We work on those basics too, but then we have to, we just unleash these. So these are the 5 pillars of an inspired thought leader brand message, and each one is a message in and of itself, comprising the overall inspired thought leader message, the overall argument that you have to put forth. So the very first pillar is future visioning. As a leader, a thought leader, an inspired leader, you must be, I shouldn't say inspired leader, as a thought leader, you must be a futurist and a visionary both. As a futurist, you have your finger on the pulse of today's culture and trends coming down the pike. You make predictions about what your market will want over the next 10 years. You do this also so that you can make logical predictions for them to help them make exponential leaps. So a thought leader, as I've already said, is a futurist, but they're also a visionary. Right? They're a visionary. You see a future for your market if they rise to their potential. And in many ways, more important, you see a future for them if they do not rise to their potential. When you frame a picture of the future and you paint your market into that future picture, a good picture and a bad picture, you're leading. You're saying both these are the imminent dangers and this is the promised land. You see where the train is going and you position your tribe to get on early. I teach at Seton Hall University, I teach thought leadership. And this is where the students just they take to this like ducks to water. They understand how vital it is to be able to see future trends and also create a future. The difference between a visionary and a futurist. And in my program, my Powerhouse Method program, clients really start to change how they think too, knowing that they have to be both of these. And each one of these 5 pillars, my clients articulate in a single sentence. So this gets articulated in a single sentence. So pillar number 2 is myth breaking. The very point of being a thought leader is to wake people out of denial. Your market is deeply asleep in some area, profoundly conditioned. Most likely the reason that you are a coach is because you were called to enlighten them to the things they're not seeing or don't want to see. So the second component of an inspired thought leader message is, I call it breaking their schema. For the purposes of this webinar, I'm calling it myth breaking. But this message is the arrow or the hammer that you use that deploys and shatters your market's cozy worldview. Think of it that they're sleepwalking along. They think they're doing the right things. They're thinking all the right things. And you come along and you say, yeah, no, you've got it all wrong. I have recently written a business fable novella. And in this is a coach's story. You want your hands on this, I will tell you that. It's called The Tale of Wolf, His Snake Oil, and a Skunk. And there's one scene where this skunk there is a sage, comes to save Wolf from the many, many perils that he's gotten himself into doing this coaching world, going into the world of coaching. And he comes along and he says to him, so the skunk says to Wolf, so you're coming from the land of the living dead, are you? And Wolf says, well, no, I'm coming from the promised land. They meet on this road here. And Skunk says to him, no, you are coming from the land of the living dead. And Wolf says, there's no such place in these parts. And Skunk says, oh, yes, there is. And you have been living there for 2 years and you don't know it. So this is another way of looking at what I'm talking about with myth breaking. Your audience is in an invisible place. They are somewhere and you can step out and see that they're in this place. They don't see it. So Skunk entirely breaks Wolf's schema, his worldview, the myths that he's been abiding by. And with all of my clients, that's what I'm seeking to find, something that's going to shatter status quo ideas, and that requires a lot of inquiry to do that. A lot of my, people, including my wonderful clients, tend to dance on the surface, and that keeps all the edgiest ideas out of sight and out of reach, which is why to get to this myth-breaking message, which is really the thought leader message, you have to go really, really deep and get a lot of stuff excavated. Of all of the inspired thought leader elements, this is the most pivotal. And I think you can see that. And it's also the hardest to unearth. All right, number 3, the third pillar is core beliefs. There exists in you a belief about how to live life and how not to live life. And it comes from so deep within you. So deep that even as a coach, you may not even know what it is consciously, or even yet begun living it consciously. This is a belief about humanity's greatest problem and solution. So when you have a solution that you believe is the solution to the world's greatest problems, it means 2 things. 1, you've plumbed your deepest beliefs. And what good is having a business if it's not born out of your deepest beliefs? What good is having a business that's affecting change as yours is if it's not one founded on ideals that reflect your core? But the problem is so few businesses, from companies down to coaching businesses, are built from their core belief, and it causes a very troubling incongruity. And 2, when you have a solution that would solve the world's greatest problem, that's what this core belief does, this one message that I have my clients work on, you truly step into the role of a leader. And when you articulate it in a single sentence, using the structure that I provide to my clients, you embody the inspired leader. Until now, so far, the other 2 pillars have been thought leader pillars. But with this one, your core message, it is the inspired leader who comes out. I call this element the meta message because meta means beyond in Greek. And this goes well beyond your business message. And I define it as an inspirational message of universal truth. And I will quickly tell you mine. I believe that you are here to change the world. And because of that, I want you to experience the exquisite joy of your own potential so that you raise the consciousness on this planet as you're here to. But to succeed, you must stop following the pack and honor your internal authority, no matter how unpopular you may be for it. Things are different for you, and I want to remind you that I am offering this as a world message, not just to coaches. My coaches, everybody creates their meta message based on their solution for humanity. And it is woven into everything. It's woven into your brand, into your talks and your programs, your signature talks and programs. And it's what you deliver in all of your marketing. It is a leadership message like no other, and you will be known for it. But its use can go far beyond that. In the Powerhouse Method, I use it to brand my clients. And for me, it's my brand, leaving the pack. And, you know, is everything that I'm about, leaving the pack and making sure everything you do leaves the pack. And you can ask yourself a single question to get at this. What is the world's worst problem? The world's worst problem, and what's my solution? Okay, so I want to stop here for just a minute, and I'm going to come back to this, but I want to make sure that those of you who have to leave receive a lot of stuff today. So I'm going to come back to this slide in a minute, and I'm going to go all the way down to the very, 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 very end and offer and tell you a couple things. One is I'm offering people to come to speak with me, and it's open to 7 of you. Now, again, we're going to continue with this, but I want to make this available to you, that you come to speak with me privately. It's open to 7, and I am going to be sharing the link with you in just a minute. So this is available starting tomorrow and into next week. I have some spaces available. I made a few, more than 7 available just so that people could find the right time for them. And then I want to, this is where you're going to get booked for this. So you're all familiar with Time Trade. I'm sure you use it yourself. So you'll just go to timetrade.com/book. And then these letters and numbers are the letters and numbers you need to get into this call with me. So it's capital R, capital J, capital H, 52. So it's timetrade.com/book/ don't forget that part, capital RJH52. But I don't want to stop there, because I'm doing something really special tomorrow, totally different than this. So if you're wanting if you want to experience a call with me about your branding as an inspired thought leader, this is what you want. But I'm also doing something, I'm being called, my impulse is calling me to do something very different in 2017. It is a year of living dangerously by living true. And tomorrow I start a 10-day free event that is going to be a Facebook adventure. I have done this before. You can see on the page, the website page about this, how it is that I've done this before, and you'll see a pretty special video there. But here at the top is a link, because you must come on this. Every single one of you is going to love to be a part of this 10-day event. And it is a bit.ly, right? So just capture the link at the top here. This bit.ly is specifically for this 10-day free event. And it's the number 2, HEH, capital E, capital B, capital E, capital B, 9. So just remember bit.ly /2HEHEB9. This is something that is, I promise you, going to change your life. You definitely want to be here. Don't miss that. And I wanted to give you my email address, because I have so many free resources for you, as well as a brand new Inspired Thought Leader assessment. So it's pretty easy to remember. It's my business name, Inspired Leaders Academy, L. Phelps. So I'm really, truly hoping that all of you will come to this event, and that you'll email me there, and also that 7 of you will sign up to come speak with me. And now what I'm going to do is resume, go back to where I was, and finish up the rest of the pillars. Okay. As I said, an inspired thought leader is nothing if she doesn't have a solution that breaks with the old way of doing things and thinking and offers a new vista. So this is pillar number 4. You're having a new paradigm solution, one that nobody's really heard of before, an actual solution that's really different. In my fable, Wolf conceives of an entirely new paradigm solution for the animals back on Earth. And I'm kind of impressed that I came up with a new paradigm solution for a wolf. If I can do it for a wolf, I guess I do it pretty well for humans. And of course, this is what I'm inviting you to experience if you want to come talk to me on that call. But I want to give you a huge aha right now. I tell all of my coaches in coming up with this new paradigm solution to never use the term coach or coaching. It doesn't mean anything to people from the outside. It doesn't hold value to them. It holds incredible value once you're in the room with them, but not from the outside. So here's what I suggest and urge you to do instead. Develop a proprietary methodology based on a new paradigm solution. So this is mine. The Powerhouse Method is my proprietary methodology. And it has these steps, these sequences in it. And it is a proprietary sequence and a proprietary solution. And what you do then is you do not say you're a coach or that you do coaching. You are the creator of the XYZ process or method. This is huge. And when I do Q&As at the end, this is what everybody wants to talk to me about. It's very important that you remove coach and coaching from your terminology. So again, in the Powerhouse Method, I'm working tirelessly to help people conceive a solution that's unlike anything else out there. That's what you need. And the last one is tribe building. I hate to give him as an example because he's such a reprobate, but Jordan Belfort, portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf on Wall Street, was brilliant at tribe building. And this picture kind of says it all. I don't have, well, I was going to say I don't have time, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to read you what he says in this scene. He says, see these telephones? They're not going to dial themselves without you. They're just worthless hunks of plastic. It's up to each and every one of you, my highly trained Stratonites, my killers who will not take no for an answer, my effing warriors. So what does Jason Belfort do here that creates this kind of effect? Look at them there. He builds a potent, irresistible tribe with his employees. With this element, tribe building, you do the same with your market by causing them to feel special. And you're doing this in your marketing. Remember, your tribe shows up in your marketing. That's where you have lots and lots of people. And that's where you want them to feel really, really special. I did this tonight by telling you that you are driven by impulse. And I separated you from others by saying that you are a different set. And I told you that you are special as transformation artists. This is the sort of thing that he was doing in that scene. He was really making them feel very, very special. He also gave them their own names, Stratonites. It is very, very uniting to be given a name. I have called my tribe inspired leaders for years, and now they give themselves a nickname, ILs. That's what they call themselves. And it has a very strong identifying impact on people. And this is, again, where the inspired leader comes in, one who is asking others to aspire to something greater in and greater than themselves. Tribe building is also done by giving your market a mission. This is very important. He gives them a mission, essentially, which is to make a ton of money, but he's giving them and assigning them a mission. Something to aspire to for you. It's going to be something to aspire to for them that they never thought that they could aspire to. I did that today by telling you that you are in the conductor's seat, here to lead. That is a pretty big mission, leading those less aware into the dawn. And again, like I said, this is where the inspired leader comes charging in, creating that unbreakable bond with her tribe. And we know that some big names do this really well, tribe building really well. Apple does it really well, and Dove is doing it really well. Minnie Cooper does it, Harley Davidson. Some do this tribe building really, really well. So to sum up, almost if nothing else, an inspired thought leader builds a tight-knit tribe around his market in his marketing. And if you can, and I absolutely know every single one of you can do this because you're transformation artists. You are natural inspired leaders. You are natural at this. So you just ask yourself, what are the qualities and quirks of my market? What makes them so unique? And how can I tell them tell them how they're unique and give them a mission? So there you have the 5 pillars of an inspired thought leader message. These 5 right here. And as well as those basic elements that I shared with you earlier. They have to be woven into a coherent, well-crafted argument. That's why I have this at the bottom of the screen. An argument is the corner of all of this. Think of your business messaging and brand as a giant thesis paper. You have to influence and persuade your tribe to change and do better. You're presenting a premise to them, and to succeed, you have to show them what they're blind to. You have to show them what the future holds. You have to tell them what it is that you think is the solution to all of humanity. You have to give them a new paradigm solution, and then you have to do it with the power of an inspired leader, showing them how special and unique a tribe they are and what is possible for them. This is how you market, guys. This is how you present your presentations, and this is what you sell. You don't sell your time, you don't sell coaching sessions, but a vision of what they can be. And it's not packaged together into something ordinary like all coaches do. It's packaged as a new paradigm, proprietary methodology that sets you apart from everybody else. These are the elements that leave a lasting impression in marketing and change lives. And change lives act. And taking action is the only result you're looking for as a world change leader and as a business owner. When you break their patterns and inspire them to go where they have not imagined going, believe me, they will act. Things are different for us. Everybody say, we are born to lead. So you're born to lead, but the question is, will you? As I've been saying, almost nobody delivers this kind of leadership, including coaches who are so mission-driven. So why? Well, leading others to wake up requires waking up yourself. Starts with you, from the easy, comfortable thinking place that we all get into. It requires breaking through the surface and getting to new ideas that exist in much deeper waters. And speaking. Another reason why coaches are not out there doing this is because speaking a new controversial thought and solution means facing derision. It means facing criticism. And so we stay cozy in the middle of the curve where the crowd insulates us. I mean, who can condemn us when we're inside there and everybody else is satisfactory and good enough? We crowd in there and we capture everybody's copy. I mean, everybody's business models. We copy their marketing strategies, their fee structures, their messaging, their programs. We copy everything. We become like them because it is so much easier than being seen and ridiculed on the fringe. And we slip deeper and deeper and deeper into the crowd where no one can even find us. And where we can't even hear the impulse within us anymore. It's just a faint, far off pulse beat. And I want to ask you, is it okay with you to be where good enough is good enough? Is it okay with you to settle into the middle of the curve and follow when you have been born to lead? Are you committed to getting all of you seen on the outside? If you are, then I have done my job. Except I haven't done my job if I leave it there. I've been working with human beings for 15 years, with coaches for 10, and coaches are no better than the general population. They're just no better than everybody else in changing their bad habits. You have to be pushed out of your own greatness like everybody else has to be. More so even because you're playing at such a higher level, and and the stakes are really high for you. Things are different for you. We're here to change people, change consciousness. You have to be pushed harder because it's scary putting yourself out there and to affect change like that. And that's the devastating coaching paradox. An impulse called you to great things, but your small voice overrides it over and over again. So my job is not done if I don't push you. And I push coaches harder than anybody else because I love and believe in you so much. And you are failing in massive numbers because of that paradox. So I'm pushing you to your own greatness today. And once again, I'm telling you to come speak with me. Come speak with me. I'm going to give you the link again in the schedule in a minute, but this week or next, shake off your doubts, break out of your comfort zones, leave average and good enough, and come talk to me about the brand you currently have and the kind of brand you deserve to have, must have, if you're going to honor the impulse and if you're going to be successful. I'm going to assess your current brand, tell you exactly what's missing so you can stop guessing about your challenges and give you direction. This is your chance to discover what is possible for you and all the things that can be taken off your shoulders and reinvented. So once again, here is that link for you on Time Trade. And please remember that I have this other event tomorrow, starting tomorrow, a 10-day free event. I will be, if you email me, I can get you all of this information. Phelps at Inspired Leaders Academy. And, but right now, get that because only 7 are, I can accommodate only 7 for the call. So the very last thing I want to say, I just want to leave you with these words. Remember why you do the work that you do. Remember that it chose you. Remember, cozy comfort is not what it wanted for you. So take your eyes from the superficial, walk away from the middle of the curve where good enough is good enough. Unearth the depth of who you are, the substance of who you are, and then lead with it. So by now, you know your answer to the title question. Yes, there's an inspired thought leader inside of you. I would love to help bring it out. Come speak with me. Thank you so much. I am so sorry that I had a power outage. Thank you for staying with me, and it's been a great honor.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you so much. Right now, it doesn't look like we have any questions. We still have participants who have hung in through the whole thing. Thank you, one and all, and very inspirational. So I think that will end our session, and good luck to all of us. This really gives you some food for thought. Thank you.
Oh, thank you all. So sorry again.
No problem. It was fantastic. Take care, everybody.
All righty. Bye-bye.